what a way to bounce for them, working their way up through towards the top flight of British Motorsport. We are now live as well, so if you are joining us on the live stream, welcome along to Brands Hatch. Qualifying is well and truly underway. We've still got 12.5 minutes of this session remaining for the Classic and Modern Motorsport Club Ashton MEP Super Saloon Series, Ashton MEP TinTops, and the Hoosier Tyre Intermark Silhouette Series. But seeing just a raft of cars, we've got a really big grid for this, or for all the series at the moment. A big old moment coming out of Graham Hill Bend. That was for the BMW Z4 silhouette of Keith White, all crossed up on the exit. Got it all squared away and carried on. But yeah, I do make you right about it being Chris Ayling sat there on the side of the road, working his way along the Derek Minter Straight.
Yep, so it certainly looks as though Keith White is pressing on this lap. The man from Somerset, who has been a regular silhouette racer, largely in this BMW-bodied car for a good number of years. Nice and neat and tidy through the almost banked, isn't it, Hawthorne. Heads down the Derek Minter Straight, where Chris Ayling's car is parked up on the side of the road. Grabs the apex nice and neatly at Westfield Corner before he then descends downhill through Dingle Dell and up towards Sheen Curve, with that newer sort of tarmacked area that we spotted earlier on, didn't we, that's on the inside of that corner there. So some new tarmac that's been added, which allow the cars to maybe take an extra little inch or so. But Keith White will be concluding the lap shortly. Just ahead of him on track, it's going to be the number 51 car, which will be next over the start-finish line, Russell Humphrey, who is quicker than he's previously gone through the first sector, lost a little bit of time through the second sector. Is he going to sneak pole? It needs to be a big improvement in the final sector. No, it's a slower lap anyway. That was a 1 minute 41.346. His best is a 1 minute 40.5, and now we've also had some shuffling because we've got Rod Birley back to the top of the times, and we've also had somebody else now move up into second place, have we not, which is Paul Knight. Yeah, and we've had Keith White work his way ahead of Russell Humphrey as well, so Keith White is now up into third place. Russell Humphrey, he'll have got, well, what happened on that lap? He went from the outside of the first row to the outside of the second row as it's all shuffled towards the top. We've also, had car number 91, Malcolm Blackman, work his way up, so Russell Humphrey now down into what is fifth place, so Malcolm Blackman up into third with a 1 minute 40.407, leading theoretically the Intermark Silhouette Series qualifying at the moment. But Rod Birley with an improvement, and in the pit lane we have car number 44. That is Rod Birley, so having gone out and set that time, maybe pulling in, checking pressures and whatever, and then potentially back out there. We've still got over 10 minutes of the session to go. Yeah, Rod could close his eyes and do a quicker lap round Brands Hatch than most in reality. Malcolm Blackman is the one to watch out for as we keep an eye on also what's going on with Sam Haywood at the wheel of the Team Hornet Renault Megane RS. He's working his way up towards Sterling's. He has got breathing down his neck the Peugeot number 33, which is Chris Bassett's car. So Sam indicates in the Megane, lets Chris Bassett go through and see what they might be able to do. But on this lap, I would say Malcolm Blackman is one we need to try and keep an eye on at the wheel of the number 91 car. Absolute best through the first sector. He's just coming up towards the end of the second sector any second now. There's a bit of traffic ahead of him, which might just compromise his run out of Sterling's, but he is quicker through the second sector than he's previously gone. And he is now looking to try and wiggle his way through and past Steve Rothery's Peugeot 308, which he's not quite going to catch, I don't think, before Clearways Corner. And he might even get a little bit of a toe off him as they head over the start-finish line this time through. So it does look as though Malcolm Blackman, number 91, who's now fourth quickest, could go potentially back towards pole. Is it going to be good enough? No, it's good enough for the front row, but it's not good enough for pole. 1 minute 39.299 from Malcolm Blackman. Good lap. Yeah, missing out by only, what, 0.3 of a second. Slightly wide on the exit of Graham Hill Bend was the Peugeot. So we're still trying to push these limits, trying to just get a bit more out of the cars that we've got out there. Let's see who we've got improving this time. It looks rather too large for a Ginetta G40, the silhouettes that we've got out there. It's driven by Colin Smith, the man from Hullbridge, in his Ginetta G40 silhouette. What do we have dropping and changing on the time? We did see an improvement last time as we broke the beam. That was for car number 5, Peter Selden. Sevenoaks, not really too far away at all, West Suffolk Racing. That is in the BMW M2 GTR, which again looks so, I think it's one of the most modern cars that we've got out there. It looks very well prepared, and he's slowly starting to extract a bit more pace. It's, I think, effectively one of the club sport cars. Yes, West Suffolk Racing that prepare that particular car. Pete Selden has been racing Beamers for an enormous amount of years now. And I don't think he's the only member of the Selden family that races as well. I think some of his sons have competed in the past as well. But that really does look a very well put together car. And he is 7th quickest that time through. 1 minute 40.607 improves the lap time for Pete Selden. Traffic to be dealt with here as the number 59 Honda Integra DC5 of Adam Shepherd dives up the inside of the squabbling Audi TT. So Adam Shepherd on for a reasonably good lap. Where is he sitting at the moment? He is sitting 9th quickest, quicker than he's previously gone through the first and the second sectors, but met the traffic in the third. And the largely white car with the black bonnet to it heads over the start-finish line any second now. Are we going to see an improvement for him from 9th? Yes, up to 8th with an improved time of 1 minute 40.682.
Yeah, so just at one place, but that could help him in the very early stages of the race. Another driver to watch here, that's Adrian Bradley. We mentioned it at the start of the session behind the wheel of his BMW E46 M3. I think he's got a number of BMW E46s now. As he breaks the beam, does he improve from 9th place? Does he ever? Right the way up into 5th at 1 minute 39.938. Brilliant lap from Adrian Bradley. That's exactly what he needs, but we are seeing more and more and more green on the timing screen. We're seeing improvements mainly through sectors 1, 2, and a little bit of 3 as well. But sector 2 is really where we're starting to see the improvements. Rod Birley, personal fastest through sector 1, overall fastest through sector 2. Let's have a look. Does he improve ever more? Yes, he does. A 1 minute 37.622. So all of that hard work that was put in by Malcolm Blackman has gone right the way back out to 1.6 seconds ago.
Yep, so Rod Birley will no doubt try and just ease things off a little bit now. He's got a bit of traffic to deal with as he dives up the inside of the absolutely beautiful looking Ford Sierra of Jeremy Sutton, the RS500 Ford Sierra. Harks back, of course, to the Group A days of the British Touring Car Championship with the likes of Andy Rouse and Rob Gravitt amongst many, many others. Carl Jones, of course, in the Duckham's car. Always good to see an RS500 out. And also good to see the variety as ever, including coming over the start-finish line now, the Mazda RX-8, which is in the hands of Clive Hainsford, the man from Gravesend. He's done a good chunk of winning in that car over the years in various categories. Where is he in the order, though, at this stage? He's only 22nd quickest at this stage, Clive Hainsford. So I would have thought that flame-belching car might be a little bit further up through the order.
Yeah, and of course, it's not the only RX-8 that we've got out there. Wayne Spiller is supposed to be out there as well. So it's great to see a real range of cars. Are we seeing further improvements? Adrian Bradley, as he went over the line, is in 5th. Peter Selden in 6th at the moment. Further down the order, we've had a big, big improvement. One of the Audis we've got out there, car number 50. Let's have a look through who that is. That's Wayne Shawnee, the man from Southampton in his Audi Quattro TT. He's picked up a number of places with a 1 minute 48.987. So we're getting to that point in the session, Mark, where it's slowly starting to calm down, unless you're Rod Birley and you continue to set green sectors. But I've got to say, sector 1 is looking very green indeed for a lot of drivers. Yeah,
so Rod Birley will want pole position back because he's lost it out to the 612 car of Adrian Bradley. So what can Rod Birley do to try and wrestle pole position away? He's got 5 minutes in which to do it at this stage. Also need to keep an eye on what's going on within the silhouettes as well, because Russell Humphrey is on a good lap this time through. He's 4th quickest, he's 2nd quickest of the silhouette, but he's about to head over the start-finish line now, the yellow and the blue car, with the subtle red flashes to it, and as it was, he goes 2nd quickest, back onto the front row of the grid, 1 minute 37.581, misses out on pole position by 0.4 of a second, so maybe a bit more to come there from the car that heads up towards Druids.
I thought he slowed down towards the line as well. That's why I thought, no, he's decided maybe this isn't the lap. I think, yeah, as you say, there is a lot more to come from that car. Let's have a look down. Gary Barlow has improved. He's up into 22nd place now, 1 minute 46.275. So he's starting to improve upon those times. Adrian Bradley remains at the top. Where is Rod Birley? He's down into 3rd, because of course Adrian Bradley on provisional pole with a 37.183. Russell Humphrey with a 1 minute 37.581 just posted, still with a bit more to come. Rod Birley's responding immediately, not quite as quick through sector 1 as he would like, but overall fastest through sector 2, almost a 43-second exactly sector 2 from him. He's just working his way in towards Clark Curve now, pitches his way through. He's going to be catching the Ginetta G40 silhouette of Colin Smith towards the line, but he won't get close enough, hugging the pit wall towards the line. Do we see Rod Birley back onto pole position? No, not this time, but an overall fastest sector 2, an overall fastest sector 3. Sector 1, I think he gave up pole position.
Yeah, lost it all in that first sector. He was about 1.4 seconds down on where he ought to have been through that first sector, so that was why it all sort of unravelled at the start of the lap for him, and Rod was always going to be playing catch-up from there on in. Up towards Paddock Hill Bend goes that glorious-looking Ford Sierra RS500 of Jeremy Sutton that I was talking about. Where is that in the order at the moment? He is 21st quickest, Jeremy Sutton. The best that he's posted is just the lap that he's completed, actually, a 1 minute 45.980 from him. He's just been passed by Pete Selden's BMW 2 Series. But no matter where you look, there are cars out there on circuit. Colossal. How many have we had? 42 cars have set lap times. Chris Ayling's car, yes, you could say it was Ayling when it first joined the session, couldn't you? Because it didn't even complete a lap.
No, he completed a sector and a half, and then that was it, unfortunately, for that car. 2.5 minutes remaining, so still time for pretty much everybody out there to complete the lap they're on, plus one more. Over the line goes the Renault Megane in the hands of Sam Haywood. Do we see an improvement from the number 41 machine? No, not that time. Remains in 24th place. But we are seeing further improvements in the pit lane. We have car number 11, so Mark Cripps, of course, not the only car that he races is that BMW E46. He does have, I think, another couple. It seems like if you race a BMW, you need more than one BMW. I don't know whether that's for spares or just because oh, someone's gone very, very wide indeed, yeah.
Gary Barlow, that was. So, yes, so Gary Barlow runs very, very wide indeed and gathers up the moment at the wheel of the Honda Integra DC5. He's had a busy couple of weekends, hasn't he, Gary Barlow? He was racing at Spa-Francorchamps. Had good success last weekend, didn't he, out at Spa?
Yeah, absolutely, and he'll be looking to carry that momentum into this weekend, struggling for pace early on, but of course we're on that GP loop which doesn't get as much use, so again I think a bit more pace to come from Gary. Are we seeing any further improvements in terms of times? No, not this time. However, somebody that we haven't really kept much of an eye on, Colin Smith, he's cracked his way up the order, up into 4th place. A personal fastest sector 1, 2 and 3. He's just set up another personal fastest sector 1 and an overall fastest sector 1 for car number 91, Malcolm Blackman.
Yeah, absolute best for Malcolm Blackman through the first sector, quicker than he's previously gone through the second. A little bit of traffic that was ahead of him, but he seems to have cleared that before they get towards Clearways Corner, and the red Tigra is getting a tow as well. This is probably the perfect opportunity. Over the start-finish line he goes, and Malcolm Blackman is not going to go back towards pole position. The time was an improvement, 1 minute 38.289. Not quite good enough to grab pole.
No, unfortunately not. It seemed like, yeah, that bit of traffic cost him very, very dear indeed. Rod Birley goes back out onto circuit. However, there is only, 35 seconds of the session remaining, so I don't think there'll be any improvements on his part. But we are seeing improvements even this late in the session. Back over the line goes the 612 machine of Adrian Bradley. Does he improve upon his current provisional pole time? No, he doesn't. But Colin Smith has been getting quicker and quicker and quicker and continuing to do so. Personal fastest sector 1, personal fastest sector 2. He's coming towards the line now. We could see him work his way onto the second row of the grid, breaks the beam, currently sat in what is 5th place, remains where he is. However, another personal fastest lap of the session for him, and he's getting closer. He's within, a 10th and a half of Malcolm Blackman.
Yeah, he's certainly looking quick, isn't he, at this stage, chipping away all of the time, seeing what he might be able to do. So we'll keep an eye on Colin Smith. We'll also keep an eye on Pete Selden. Both of those are, I think, on their final laps at the moment. Pete Selden heads over the start-finish line. Can he improve? No, he can't. He remains 6th quickest. Sorry, 5th quickest. It just took a while. It flashed up, and he has gone quicker and moves up to 5th with a 1 minute 38.370. Just took away a short while for the time from that car to find its way into the Swiss timing system. So we'll see as to whether we can offer up any further improvements. It certainly looks as though car number 612, though, Adrian Bradley at the wheel of the BMW E46 M3 is heading towards pole position for this Ashton MEP CMMS Super Saloons TinTops and Intermark silhouette when I finally put my teeth in session.
Yeah, we did also have Malcolm Blackman towards the line. No improvement on that lap, unfortunately. So, yeah, we've got the final few cars coming through. Adrian Bradley, I'd imagine, will peel his way into the pit lane this time. Will he? Or will he take the checkered flag? No, he will take the checkered flag, so through the final corner he will come. So too does Gary Barlow. Do we see an improvement later on in the session? Currently sat 22nd place, no improvement from him. What about Adrian Bradley? No, trickles his way over the line and brings an end to his session. So too does the 263 of Gary Deal in his Vauxhall Tigra Intermark silhouette car. I'm just showing off, I can say it now, Mark. Over the line goes the 188. That will be one of the Honda Civic Type R's that we've got out there. I think that was just the 88 of Neil Gardner. He goes over the line and doesn't improve, unfortunately. So Adrian Bradley takes pole position, followed then by the number 51 of Russell Humphrey. Rob Birley finishes in third, ahead of Malcolm Blackman and Peter Selden. Colin Smith finishes in what is 6th place, and then in 7th place it will be car number 3, that is Paul Knight. Finishing in 8th place, or starting, what will be starting in 8th place later on in the race will be Ronan Bradley. Then it is the 308 machine of Steve Rothery. He will line up in 9th. And in 10th place, it will be car number 38, one of the Peugeots that we've got out there. 308, pardon me. Yeah, it was Steve Rothery that finished there. And then it was the BMW car number 38. That's being in the hands of, as we look up and down the order, and you can never find the number that you exactly want, we will leave it there, I believe. So we've got, what, 42 cars set times in that session, Mark, so it's going to be a capacity grid here at Brands Hatch later on this afternoon. We should see the CMMS Super Saloons, TinTops and Intermark silhouettes back out on circuit for their race this afternoon at around about 20 to 4. So that will be a 15-minute race from them, and that's a lot of cars on not so much, on what, 3.08 miles of circuit for only 15 minutes. I'd imagine if you're going to go for a move, you better go for it early. It'll be a busy old job for a number of the drivers, but I suppose we'd better shuffle some paperwork and get ready for GTs again.
Yep, we will. Yep, so we've got another session coming up shortly. This is the pre-qualifying session we've got up next for the Fanatec GT World Challenge, powered by AWS. So if you're only just arriving at Brands Hatch, welcome along to the annual visit for these fantastic GT3 sports cars, factory drivers, world-class cars, world-class drivers, world-class circuit as well. You can listen to it all on Radio Brands 88.3 FM. We'll be back in a few moments' time for pre-qualifying and the Fanatec GT World Challenge Europe, powered by AWS.